Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the SZR Summer Race Series out on Zwift. Riders have gotten underway, and we do have the front end of the A category race heading into the volcano. But real quick, let's just go over some of the race rules as well as information all about the SZR Summer Race Series. It is put on by the SC team, the Swedish team out on Zwift. And the rules are essentially no TT bikes, power-ups are disabled, so it's a full-on trying to replicate in real life as much as possible. Race heart rate monitors are compulsory for A and B category riders. Power meter and smart trainer winners can take the category win. Z-Power racers will not be available to take podium places out on Zwift. And it's the usual watts per kilogram for each of the categories out there. If you're unfamiliar with the SCR series, they do a whole lot of racing on Wednesdays, and they have a team, the SZ team out on Zwift, a great team that's got a huge actually following, as well as a lot of members. They do a really great job in the winters and the summers putting on a series, and they keep track of the series actually throughout the winter as well as the spring a lot of times. I think the summer series though is just one-off races. So up at the front of the race though today we do have already heading out of the volcano, it looks like James Hodges from the KISS Racing team is taking out an early lead. He went right from the get-go as they headed into the Essies and over toward the volcano. They will be doing 3 laps on the volcano flat today, so he is taking off looking for a solo effort today off the front, it looks like. In the B category race, then just a little ways behind, it does look like there will be a chase taking place actually with the Bs and the As, actually with ESCR here. Sullivan is there, T. Sullivan from Team EN, a new team that I'm actually unfamiliar with, Team EN. Maybe somebody in the chat can help me out. Is this also the kit that this team would be using as well in game that they are looking to adopt? We do have a Team ODZ rider in here as well. It looks like Brett E as well as G Anthony now making the chase. They're going to be heading toward the what section of the course? Look toward the old Italian village and some of the old ruins that were added recently with the addition of the volcano course out on Zwift here. I am seeing, let's go ahead and look through here and see what's happening with some of the chats. We do have the social media integration. If you would like to jump into the broadcast in any kind of way, we can bring in your tweets as well as your comments from the Facebook feed. So go ahead and chat it up over there. We will be able to bring that in. Pics or any kind of chat coming from either the Facebook or the Twitter we can bring in. We'd love to have your questions and comments on the racing today. We are also live on 4 different places right now. We're currently live on Zwift Community Live's Facebook, our YouTube, our Twitch channel, as well as our Beam channel. Definitely the main places that we are looking to grab any kind of follows if you're liking the Zwift Community Live stuff is over at the Twitch channel. It's Twitch TV/Zwift Community Live, and that is the location that we are able to get you direct push notifications as well as have a chat over there to interact between all of the viewers as well. I'm just opening up the chat over there, so good to see everybody hanging out over there in the broadcast today for the SCR Racing Series. The numbers are a little bit down today. It looks like the summer is definitely starting to take a little bit of a hit on the participation levels of the SC, as well as a lot of the races during the afternoons at this point, which makes a lot of sense with summer coming in, that some people do want to get outside a little bit, but there are definitely quite a few still using the race efforts here for their intensity training. As you can see, Hodges here off the front, 160 beats per minute currently. Not putting out too hard of an effort, but definitely just enough to try and maybe hold the boys off. Still at 12 seconds, so so it isn't going anywhere. 162, 5.4 watts per kilogram as he hits up into that little uphill gradient as they're exiting the Italian village here and going to be heading on over toward, I believe, Ocean Boulevard to start their second of 3 laps today out on course. We are seeing Kyle Mack hanging out over at the Twitch channel. Sound keeps going out of sync on loads of channels. Interesting. So we're getting a sound sync issue. Apologies on that. I wonder what is going on with the sound. I'll just double check all of my channels, make sure that we don't have any issues here on my end. Wondering if for some reason we're having some sort of a issue with the upload right now. Just double check real quick here. Everything's looking fine on my end. Perhaps we're having something with a noise gate. Not positive, but we'll see what if we can figure out what's happening there. I think we're okay now, Kyle. Perhaps maybe for just a moment we did have some sort of a issue there. So looks like it is resolved though. Jay Hodges here though. It looks like off the front still 16 seconds with Luzier here coming out of the USA, a rider I'm not familiar with, have not seen in the races before, as well as G. Anthony here as well, 4.5 watts per kilogram on the Go Power Rangers Z Power, it looks like, with chasing down Mr. Hodges, who may start to have a little bit of maybe have a little bit of what we want to say, motivation taken out of wind out of the sails there, perhaps, with the Z Power chasing him down. But it looks like he's able to handle it just fine at this point and is still holding on to that gap in the A category right now. Looking our way backwards a little bit here, we do see it is going to be a chase group here of about 1, 2, 3, I'd say about 15 or so in this main chase group, trying to bring back Mr. Hodges, but he may be going off the front here all on his lonesome, as we do have S Field, then it looks like, as well as Robsch here out of Germany making the main chase. S Field here off on his lonesome, 113 back from this main chase group. Going to be a long day, it looks like, off the front for him as well, just like Hodges at this 114 back or so, coming out of the UK. 139 beats per minute, looking fairly steady here with only 139. We'll see if he can bring back any of those who might fall off from this lead group. PTZ in this lead group, it looks like Weitzner is there as well. From, I believe Weitzner is riding for the TFC. He is in that CRCA kit, as you can see there. No TFC in the name, but definitely have seen him riding in that kit and with the TFC next to his name in the past, though. D. O'Connor there from the PRS. That is a race, I believe, progressive race series. So it looks like he was recently racing that. But it does look like these boys are getting a little motivated to bring back Hodges. We do see Anthony again at the front here, 5.3 watts per kilogram. They are taking some turns at about a steady 5.3 plus or so to try and bring back Hodges. We'll see if they can make that happen. So let's see, Twitch was getting DDoSed or something last night. Interesting, Kyle. Is that for real? It's fine now. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Good to see us. Szymanski over at the Twitch channel. Actually had a race not influenced by Z-Power last night. Just some questionable smart trainers, Frank the Tank. And so the actually in there, that's an interesting comment to bring into the broadcast for sure. Interesting that you've been having that many issues in the past with but I guess that's what we call them, the robots, right? As you have seen my racer focus, and it's all about chasing them down. There's actually being the SC series one that we like to have conversations a little bit back and forth with the chat as we cover, as things are calming down here within the race. Not a whole lot of attacks going on at the moment, so we can have a little interaction, a little chat about that. My experience with the robots and the smart trainers and the Z Power is that over the weekend, I had a great race. Okay, I had a great race personally, and I've heard this get time and again from riders out on Zwift, like Hodges right here. I know Hodges has a solid power meter source, definitely super strong rider in real life, but he's being chased down by Z Power and some smart trainer and whatever maybe out in Zwift, but it's causing him, or he has to follow maybe some crazy efforts out on course. My experience is that this past weekend, while trying to follow wheels, I went back to a mental place of trying to chase Kiss 100 robots and pixels all night long, right? Like following those moves over and over and over again. And while I was following those moves in the race this weekend, somebody would go off the front and I'd be able to close it down. And I went to this mental place in my experience of Zwift that pushed me that much further during my real life race. That same mental space, that same remembrance of those efforts that I was putting out in the races on Zwift, I had that experience in the races in real life. It was really interesting that my remembrance of the suffering and the following of the pixels and the trying to hold on to those wheels in Zwift directly influenced actually my ability to hang on to those wheels in real life. That I was like, man, what I've done and the amount of craziness I've gone through over the 5 times over Box Hill on a Kiss 100 race and following the crazy moves of who knows whether or not it was real or not real. It doesn't really matter. I had to follow those pixels, and that directly influenced my ability to follow wheels. And I just kept following moves over and over again, and eventually was the strongest man at the end of the day just following those wheels, and was able to take a now this isn't about me, this is just about the influence that had on my training and my ability to go in real life. And so as a training tool, absolutely amazing. Now, as a lot of people are saying, you know, there are some limitations still to the realities of Zwift racing, but it definitely makes for some of the best training that you can possibly have, as you have to follow those pixels. And James Hodges, though, showing that he's got the real power to throw down right now at 8.0 watts per kilogram, 152 beats per minute. Weitzner now trying to follow very closely here, as well as Oppitz here coming out of Germany. So Guy now is there now going as well, 6.6, 7.1 watts per kilogram. And for a lot of these boys and girls out there, you know, there is the reality also of the Z Power not being able to take the category win, and that is for a reason, not having super high accuracy on it. And then also the ability of Zada to come in and say, hey, if you're putting out 5.0 watts per kilogram or higher, definitely going to want to have the Zada approval there with a strain gauge. And we should be back at a 1280 by 720 instead of the 1080p. I believe for a moment there had to bring the broadcast down just for a moment, and now everything looks clean. Looks like for today, for some reason, our ISP is not allowing the upload that we should be getting. So it looks like we had to bring it down just a little bit. Maybe there's some heavy traffic or something today in the area, or just a little bit of issues with the service provider, but we should be good to go now at this point. So sorry about the little interruption there. We are one lap down in the SZR series today, with G. Anthony still here at the front on that Go-Go Power Rangers, just pulling boys along now. It does look like it's going to be 2 seconds back to coming out of the US of AM Rachia, actually, who's going to have to get back on terms immediately if they want to be a part of this race today, as they are 2 seconds off the back here on the flat course. And this group is going to go away as they head into the Essies here, with a little bit of attack at the front here with Gio O'Malley at 5.2 watts per kilogram, 139 beats per minute, looking like they are going to be able to start to break things apart here out of the UK. Everybody's fairly low on the heart rates, right now, though, so nobody really had too much of an effort just yet, except for Oppitz here, is now starting to take an attack into the little Essie's climb before they hit the volcano section of the course. 3 laps on the flat, so they're going to be at 2 more times through the volcano. And it is going to be this lead group starting to break things apart here with Florence and Team ODZ now starting to fall off the back. And if ODZ here, Mr. Brett E, is not able to close this down, they're going to start forming a lead group within the B category. Or maybe not a lead group, actually, as we do have Oppitz here, who is a part of the B category, starting to make some moves for that category. O'Connor's now off the front by a little bit. They are going to start chasing Anthony, but maybe just let him go as he's putting out a solid effort here on the Go-Go Power Rangers. Solid 100 RPMs can just spin it right on up and grab those wattages. So Oppitz here now, it looks like here 3.9 watts per kilogram, with O'Connor now 4.5 and Hodges now 3.4. They're all steady at about 28 miles per hour, and it's going to be Robertson here 1 second off the back, able to close that down. And it looks like Brett then maybe going to be the next one to bite the dust off the back right now. So we're going to go ahead and open up our, it looks like, social media integration. Doesn't look like too many hanging out over there. It looks like Katrina, Johnny, Russ all hanging out over at the broadcast. Good to see you guys. I think we are still live on the Facebook. I'm just going to double check and see if everything's coming through live. It does look like we are good. Yeah, it looks like we are good again over there. So sorry again about the interruption there for a moment. For some reason, it was not enjoying the upload here locally at ZCL headquarters. So Weiss now 4.0 watts per kilogram. And it seems at 147 beats per minute. Not too bad right now as far as the efforts go. O'Connor now maybe with a little bit of a jump here up in that 6.8. Maybe just trying to hang on now as they make their way through the flat course. As things calm down on the front end of the race here, we'll have a quick little chat about what is up and coming on Zwift Community Live. We will have tomorrow a double header. We will be covering, I believe, the XRS as well as the KISS races tomorrow, so make sure to tune in for those. We will also be having the Friday criterium on the race broadcasts as well on Friday. And then so a little bit of sparser on the coverages this week, just mainly as Zuzkana, I believe, is out of town, so she will not be running the I do not believe she will be running the Zwift Fitness Women's Gateway ride. I believe she is out of town on vacation, but we'll have to double check with her and see. But make sure to hit that follow button over on Twitch for notifications anytime that we do go live. And you can also see in the Zwift events, if Zuzkana is running her weekly broadcast, it will definitely be in the Zwift events, Zwift.com/events. So Sullivan here now, Team EN. We have to double check who is Team EN here. I do have ZwiftPower.com up. You can see live results over there. And it looks like Team EN, I'm going to see if they are actually registered. They are registered over at ZwiftPower.com. Let's go ahead and see what this team is all about. Team EN, Tim Sullivan, and Patrick McCran. EnduranceNation.us is actually who that is. So it is a two-person team, it looks like, as far as how many are registered over on ZwiftPower.com. It looks like Tim Sullivan, who we're looking at right now, has 41 races out on Zwift, ranked in the top 9%, it looks like here. 275 watt FTP coming out of the United States. He won the WBR flat race, it looks like, yesterday. One of the WBR flat race. Did the KISS America's AM, took 28th overall. Usually a B category rider. It looks like he does jump into the A's once in a while, though, with ZHR afternoon T race. Took an 8th place in that back on May 9th. So Tim Sullivan starting to get into, it looks like, a lot of Zwift racing as of recently, and starting to recruit maybe a little bit for this team EN, as Patrick McCran here is also on the team. So I wonder if that's EnduranceNation.us. Interesting, definitely interesting to see the new and growing teams out on Zwift. We do have BA Oppitz here as well in the B category. Let's go ahead and see what's happening with this B category. What kind of talent do we have? Brett from Team ODZ here. Brett E, out of the US of A. It looks like ODZ, definitely a registered team over on Zwift.com, has 43 races out of the USA, estimated FTP of 326 watts. Took a second place in the B race in the KISS Pedal Power Jersey TT, actually, just last week in that time trial race. Team Italy Gladiators race as well as second place. Lots of second place. Last race he won was an individual TT back on, it looks like, April 26th. So some solid results for him. Hasn't had an all-out win since the WBR flat race, 4 laps back on April 21st, though. So definitely looking for maybe another win this month in that B category for the ODZ rider. And where did he go? Did he get dropped here? Let's see if we can find Mr. Brett E. Looks like Opitz now. This is one of the only places out on course where they can actually make a break. This climb out of the ruins here and into the Italian village as they head toward that fountain. James Hodges now with 6.8 watts per kilogram, starting to break things apart as we are seeing ODZ actually falling off the back here and looking maybe to chase down Robertson, as Robertson's getting away here in this B category. But now he's off the back as well here, and it looks like the break is taking place here with Connors going on the back of he's on Guy's wheel here, sitting in with Weitzner. Opitz now also kicking still at the 6.6 watts per kilogram, really trying to break things apart. Now the question is, Opitz here still able to follow a lot of these A moves. Are they within category limits though? Opitz is at 3.6 under that 4.0 watts per kilogram. Has been calm enough that the dynamic moves are what's going to make things matter. Very tactical race here as the A's and the B's are mixing it up here at the front end of the race today. Solid efforts all around though, it looks like, from these riders. And Frank the Take saying donut. And Jay Slyon 36, hey Nathan, thanks for all the effort, enjoy the broadcast. And Jerry Delport saying, hi, I'm on the trainer, good to see you as well over at the broadcast. No problem, Jay Slyon, thanks a lot for joining in to the broadcast over at Twitch. Really appreciate your presence and your comments here. Hodges now 2.5 watts per kilogram. Looks like the break has taken place now in the AB category. We are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders that have made this initial, second, maybe I'd say second lap break, and has really been the moment of truth, I think, for the front runners that will be grabbing the podium today out on course. Hodges here now 2.9 watts per kilogram. Sullivan now, it looks like actually Hodges making his way to the front here, 5.6, trying to really break things apart and take a few more off the back of this main group here. Guy now getting right back on terms, 182 beats per minute though. Looking for that win for Team PTZ, the Portuguese team here out on course, as we are seeing Sullivan following closely with O'Malley, Weitzner, Hodges. O'Connor's made it as well, and Anthony's still on the Go-Go Power Rangers there, sitting up at the front of this race all day long. So solid effort so far from the riders. So we're going to see if we can bring in, I believe we do have a feed, maybe I think from the C category in just a moment here. I'm going to see if we can move our way back here with this feed and bring that right on in to the broadcast. We have a couple of, for some reason our internet is really giving us a little bit of struggle today, so be patient with us. Apologies as we are looking to bring in all of the feeds that we can. We did have it set up for the C and the D coverage today, but for some reason we are having a couple of issues here real quick with being able to bring in all of the coverages here. But I think we will be grabbing the C category in just a moment here. We'll see if it's nice and smooth, as we definitely don't want to give you the jittery feeds here. It looks like it's not going to be cooperative with us today, so we're going to give an ISP a call, have a little conversation after the broadcast today. So G. Anthony here now, solid effort. It looks like still at the front, 156 beats per minute on the Go-Go Power Rangers. They're 157 beats per minute. What we're going to have to see, though, from Anthony is, has he done any races in the past here? No races in the past, actually. First race out on Zwift that I can see, as he does not have a link on his name over on ZwiftPower.com. Speaking of links on the name over at ZwiftPower.com, if you head on over there, register for the race over on ZwiftPower.com, you can connect your Strava account to there and have all of your races tracked. So you can see a full history of the racers and all the races that they have done, all of the group rides that they have done that are tracked by ZwiftPower.com, as well as live results. And it's a great resource. As you can see the current watts per kilogram or the watts per kilogram that they've put out throughout the race. So as for an example here, Daniel O'Connor looks like a newer rider or racer to the world of Zwift from the United Kingdom. It looks like O'Connor here putting out a solid 154 beats per minute currently right now, but looks like about 4 watts per kilogram or so throughout the race. So right on the edge there of the category limits. The categories are 4.0 watts per kilogram for the A racers or higher. And for the B category, it will be 3.2 to 4.0. So now we see Connor now just trying to hang on 4.9 watts per kilogram or so at the back here as they head into Ocean Boulevard. He's got 3 races out on Zwift, though, it looks like, including today. So that PRS in his name, though, as you can see there, is the one of the first races that he did and took a win, actually, in that PRS race in the B category with a solid 3.9 watts per kilogram. So definitely a rider to watch out for. He might actually be getting an upgrade. We'll see here pretty soon if we keep on seeing these kinds of numbers from. He also took a 4th place in the ODZ Magnum Monday race. That was the first race that he ever did, actually, out on Zwift, according to ZwiftPower.com. So one of the newer boys, it looks like, upgrading through the ranks here as he jumps into the world of Zwift racing, now kicking into 5.4 watts per kilogram. Just making sure that he's holding on to the wheels here, as you can see. Guy now allowing Anthony to get a little bit of space as they are about a lap and a half into this 3-lap race. So about a lap and a half left to go. Almost done for the day for these boys, and it's going to be a battle to the line, I think, between this front runners. I don't think they're going to be seen again. Maybe K. Robertson here can bring it back in this B category, 5.2 watts per kilogram all day long with no RPMs. Interesting to see what's happening here. He most likely, I know that he will not be able to take the category win, even if he comes back to them, because there is no heart rate monitor there. They are compulsory in the race. Hodge is still looking steady and very comfy at this point, 132 beats per minute, waiting for those moments on this volcano flat course, a tactical course, if there is any, because it is the flattest course out on Zwift. So they are waiting for those few moments that they have. There is the climb toward the water fountain out of the volcano, and then there is the climb out of Ocean Boulevard as the main places that you can create any kind of gaps in order to try and get away and break this group apart. And I have a feeling we're about to see one of those attacks on this 3% gradient out of Ocean Boulevard. So it looks like solid efforts so far here, with Robertson still off the back, but just barely able to grab back on. Luzier here, newer rider to the race, to Zwift Racing as well, out of the US of A. He has, we don't have any information. It looks like no link on his name over at ZwiftPower.com, so no races in the past. Welcome to the world of Zwift Racing, as he is in the race of truth against the other riders here, making his way to the line. No HR monitor. Make sure that you grab those heart rate monitors, boys and girls, if you're going to show up to the races, as they are compulsory in almost all the races in order for you to get a result. It looks like here Hodges here 140 beats per minute. Now he's got a lot to work with here as they make their way out of Ocean Boulevard. 3.3% gradient, but up into that 152 beats per minute. Now 500 watts. Really, the heart rate is rising extremely quickly. This is what he has been saving all that energy for, is to try and make these breaks right now. Albit's now going right along with him. Guy's following. We do see O'Malley able to follow that wheel as well, but Sullivan now from Team DEN off the back, 170 beats per minute. He's going to have to be steady Eddie all day long to try and get back to these riders who have now made this break happen. Robertson now off the back as well, and now we got a few more biting the dust. Anthony here on the Power Rangers there, 6.0 watts per kilogram. I'm just going to ramp up the RPMs and find some more watts real easily there, but Hodges now at the front makes another break happen as they whittle it down a little bit more, and now we do have, it looks like, O'Malley grabbing back on the wheel. Connor now going there as well. Connor might be able to grab this W here today and maybe get an upgrade to the A category. We'll have to see. Hey, bro, great commentary. Good to see you, Christopher R. Vigna. Good to see you over at the broadcast on the Facebook. Appreciate the comments very much. I just got the green jersey, Jerry Delpert says over at the Twitch channel. Nice job on grabbing that green jersey. For sure. Frank giving you some encouragement as well. So thanks for joining in over here thanks for joining in for the race broadcast while you get your ride in out on Zwift. It does look like this group was able to put a solid 13 seconds in on those chasers over the top of the 3% gradient out of the Ocean Boulevard climb there. So that is one of the key places. There's another one coming up here pretty quickly that they could use in just a moment into the Estes before they head into the volcano. It's going to be all about continuance of power and speed, though, as they do hit those sections. You know, the guys and gals behind here, after they do get dropped off, they're going to have to put in a solid effort to chase back on and spike their heart rates back up. While these boys are resting, they're going to be able to put in a lot of speed, again, on those uphill gradients where weight really does matter, where you can really start to turn the screws on these boys and girls to try and, whittle down the group into those flat sections of the course. Though they have to continue on with the speed, and it's going to be all about continuance in order to continue to open up those gaps. So Hodges here now making his way to the front here again, as you can see. So he's kind of gotten this rhythm of attacks, it seems like. You hit that uphill gradient out of Ocean Boulevard, and as they go into their final lap here, maybe trying to get away off the front and not come down to a sprint finish, it looks like, is what he's going to be doing. Keeping everybody honest there at 6.0 watts per kilogram, not allowing the group to sit in Grupo Compacto. Weister trying to follow here, 7.7 watts per kilogram in that A category as well. Guy following there as well. It does look like Connor now, 7.6 watts per kilogram, 165 beats per minute there as well, trying to follow these wheels. Gets right onto Guy's wheel and going to allow Guy to do the work here to pull him back in. The gap is opening up just a little bit as we look over the shoulder there. We can see that he is able to grab right onto the PTZ rider's wheel. It looks like Weitzner. Hodges, though, as well, going off the front. Weitzner now heading way to the back. Has he popped? And actually, Weitzner with a dropout, it looks like. And that's too bad. What horrible timing there, as now we have a complete dropout. No wattage whatsoever coming from Weitzner. He was in it for the win, but it looks like he's unable to continue on. 154 beats per minute. His heart rate is still going, so I think he's still pedaling, waiting for that trainer or whatever power source he's using to come back in. But it's a full 30 seconds now at this point, and Weitzner now with that dropout, unable to continue on. Find that TFC team car, get that boy rolling again. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen today. Was in it for the W today for Team TFC, but is unable to continue on. Flat tire, broken bike, something went down. Hopefully everything is okay there over with Weitzner. This is the last lap, Christopher Arvigna, over on Zwift today for the SC race. Last lap today, and these boys are trying to break things apart at the pointy end of the race right now. If you're ever looking for live details on the race, you can head on over to zippower.com and see what is happening for all of the laps. 3 laps flat forward of the volcano. Today is what they are doing. So, look, actually, it says flat forward in the volcano flat forward 3 laps from off ramp, but so that's flat forward for volcano, because when you turn around into the volcano, that's the forward for the volcano. That makes sense, but might be a little confusing for a few of those. Cupcake says ride outside in sunny weather. Well, I think over in Sweden it's kind of dark right now. I don't think that there's, well, maybe it's not. It's 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m., so maybe it is not dark out yet. But I think some riders looking for some race effort and to get pushed, it's a lot easier to get pushed with those race type efforts in Zwift a lot of times. If you are looking for race efforts, definitely jumping into a Zwift race is one of the best ways to get those. If it's not a interval day that you have to complete some very, very specific type of interval training, this is one of the best ways to get pushed by other riders from all over the world, right from your pain cave. So there definitely is a trade-off there, Cupcakes, between the experience of the outdoors, which I definitely still get out for as much as I possibly can, but these boys most likely have reasons that are good for jumping into this way of cycling. That's definitely a conversation that we like to have on the Zwiftcast. If you haven't checked out Zwiftcast.com, podcast that we have with Mr. Shane Miller, Simon Schofield, and myself, a lot of times as guests. But they recently just had a Zwiftcast all about what did he call it? I think he called it the feminine. I'm going to mess this up, and somebody's going to yell at me. But it was focused around women's cycling and women's racing and women's Zwifting. Was what the podcast was all about, and had guests Lindsay Guerra as well as Vaughn Michich on for the broadcast or a Zwiftcast all about women's Zwifting and how it's impacting women's cycling. And but one of the conversations that we do have on the Zwiftcast a lot as I go down that bunny trail is all about this being a new way of cycling. And there's a mind shift taking place, I think, in a lot of cyclists who do Zwift a lot, seeing this as a new way of cycling, not a supplement to their cycling. And so they're in the same way that there are all kinds of different cycling disciplines out there, that this is just another way to do cycling. And so the sentiment, yeah, you are allowed to post a link, I believe, Kyle Mack. I can maybe give you permissions for a moment. I'll see if I can do so. Otherwise, I can copy the link for you. You can go ahead and do so, and I'll go ahead and copy it out there for you. If you want to whisper it at myself, I can even do that for you as well over at the Twitch channel. But one of the conversations and arguments that I would put out there for sure on this is that getting outside is a great thing, but to juxtapose that or to put a dichotomy out there like real cycling is only outside cycling would negate track cycling, would negate Zwift cycling, would negate polo competitions of cycling. There's all kinds of different cycling out there, and I think we can get a little insular within the cycling world on what counts as, expressions of the sport. And I believe, there still are limitations, obviously, to the sporting side of it here out on Zwift with the power source discussion. But at the same time, these boys are definitely hammering away at 158 beats per minute right now from Opitz here, 312 watts, getting a solid workout in while cycling away from his pain cave, getting that expression put out into the game against all these other riders here, Guy here, Anthony, Hodges, and Opitz, all with a crazy effort right now, trying to follow wheels on this 1-2-3% gradient into the fountain section on course. They're definitely feeling the reality of cycling and chasing pixels at the same time right now. 7.1 watts per kilogram here with Anthony. I think it speaks for themselves as they're killing themselves. 159 beats per minute here coming from Hodges, who does tend to be pretty low for a max heart rate, trying to break things apart just like he would out on the road. But with some different tactics and different abilities being showcased, I think, out on Zwift. And Brillo Alfonso saying, go, Gee, go. Good to see you, Brillo Alfonso, in the chat here. So what's going on with Zwift Live ANT? This is interesting, this GitHub that you have here, Kyle. What is the what are we looking at here, Kyle? I made a script to help debug ANT plus dropouts if anyone wants to try it. Oh, awesome. Good to see that. And Kyle, I went ahead and posted that link for you. And go ahead and check out that link for. Now, that is not... that is download at your own risk over at the Twitch channel. But Kyle, I know Kyle for a while now and has been hanging out amongst the broadcast for, I think, since I started broadcasting, actually 2 years ago, over 2 years ago in January 2015, I believe it was. So definitely somebody who I trust. But again, that's all at your own risk, grabbing Kyle's GitHub there. So Opitz here now out of Germany trying to follow G. Anthony. G. Anthony going, and this is going to be the last few K here out on course as they make their way through Ocean Boulevard. And G. Anthony cannot take the win outright, so they might just let him go. And it looks like Opitz, Hodges, O'Malley, Guy able to break Connors here for the B race win. Opitz here now getting away here, but it is going to be 185 beats per minute right now from Guy, from from PTZ at this moment. So looking through the live results right now, Opitz here with 3.7 watts per kilogram. He's within category limits, will be able to grab the category win here if they're able to stay away from O'Connor. D. O'Connor with, I believe, his third race today out on Zwift. Solid effort here, and will be taking second place if he's able to hold off Robertson, who's chasing him down. He will actually hold off Robertson no matter what, as Robertson does not have a heart rate monitor on, so he will not be able to grab any of the podiums out on course today. O'Malley, Connor, and Opitz for the win in the B category, but it is going to be Guy and Weitzner along with Hodges and Anthony in the A category. Anthony cannot take it, though, being on the Go Power Rangers. Comeback saying you don't need to download it. It's basically just JavaScript, so you just need to load the HTML page and drop your log in there. It's all processed locally, so log isn't uploaded anywhere. Gotcha. Thanks a lot, Kyle. Appreciate that. And so it's a great program, it looks like, to figure out where ANT drops are taking place, I believe. That's really cool that you've done that, Kyle. Awesome resource, it looks like, for the community today. And these guys are crushing it. Christopher Vigna is saying over at the Facebook, and they definitely are. We are seeing Guy now kicking it into 7.4 watts per kilogram, trying to follow the attack here of O'Malley. Opitz now going off the front by a little bit here, 3.7 watts per kilogram. Hodges just closes it down and brings it all back into Group O compacted. We do have, it looks like, 4, I believe, on the front now, 5 on the front, including the Z-Power. And Z-Power just goes right on by 5.6 watts per kilogram. He's just going to be fluctuating at the front end of this race back and forth here. Guy lets him go, actually grabs onto the wheel here, and he's got that bus now to hold on to. And now he, though, is 6 meters off the back here. Hodges now following very quickly, knowing that this may be the move, jumps into that 8 watts per kilogram, jumps on the Guy's wheel, 29 miles per hour, as we do see Guy here now trying to follow. O'Malley is going as well here, and it looks like O'Malley's still sitting really pretty at this point, looking for that category win today. O'Malley racing in the B category, 3.8 watts per kilogram. Maybe time for an upgrade for him as well. 31.4K in, I believe, was the last checkpoint. Hodges has put out 4.5 watts per kilogram for the duration of the race, so you definitely know that it's not all about watts per kilogram for who's going to win on a flatter course. It's all about tactics as well. Hodges spent a lot of time off the front, but if you're with a group, definitely can travel extremely fast out on course. Now Anthony's going away 5.6 watts per kilogram, starting to walk away from these boys at 169 beats per minute. Hodges is going to let him go. Opitz as well as Guy and O'Malley. So now we have a group of 4 at the front that can take the win. Anthony and the Go Power Rangers is going to, Z-Power is going to walk away from the rest of them, and they'll let him go so that they can just race each other here. Opitz here now 1.7 watts per kilogram, resting up that pedal stroke and heart rate now in order to find some extra energy as they head into the final sections of the course. They're going to hit under Ocean Boulevard here and then head on up on that 3% gradient uphill. And it'll be the final Ks here in just a moment. We're going to see it come down to maybe a sprint finish. Maybe somebody will go out from a K out, though, and get a break. I have a feeling with such a small group that that uphill out of Ocean Boulevard, that little 3% gradient is really going to matter today between these riders. Guy, Opitz, O'Malley, Hodges. That's your lead group of 4. We have the chaser with Robertson and O'Connor's there. O'Connor's in his 3rd race ever out on Zwift. Maybe going to be able to grab this top 5 position amongst the A's and B's out there today. Robertson and him are battling it out for 5th place out on course. So as they head past the old Jarvis tree, just going to be a few K left for the finish today. And we are seeing it. It is... Today it is, we're unable to grab any of the C or D category riders today, but we can bring in the results, though, so far for them. Currently in the C category, we do have G. Robsch. First time out there racing out on Zwift. Good to see Robsch out of Germany with 3.3 watts per kilogram average so far. May come in within category limits for the C category, being followed very closely. Actually in contention right now with B. Kapala. For that first place, as well as M. Regan and K. Kelly out on course in this C category. They're all together in that C category making the chase. We'll see if we can see their finish maybe. They're about 4:10 back from the leaders in this A category right now. In the D category, it is going to be Jay Hugart there out on course. For the women today, it will be C Hall leading things out of the US of A. So it looks like here Opitz, Hodges, O'Malley, Gee now as they're making their way toward the finish line here. They're about to head on up toward the 3% gradient uphill, the last chance to really make any breaks before the sprint finish today out on course. So looking back, it will be Robertson, 30 seconds, and then O'Connor as well. Let's go ahead and see what's been happening with Hodges and these others in the last few races. Hodges without a win, it looks like, in the last couple of weeks. I'm looking through, I see a 5th place in the KISS Europe. That would have been yesterday, actually. Solid effort there. KISS Europe races, an A category racer, is a very difficult, very difficult race, actually, to take a 5th place in. 4th place in the EVR Europe. So solid race, actually, in the last couple of days. He's raced 3 days in a row here. Now he's looking for a win as we see 10 watts per kilogram coming from Jay Hodges here. Hodges here absolutely killing it now, getting a little bit of breathing room. Actually, Guy able to hold onto that wheel there from the PTZ group. 183 beats per minute, though. 159, 160 here coming from Hodges. Mali now trying to follow. Opitz from the B category is going to let those boys go, it looks like, and take the win in the B category, but it is going to be Hodges here, still going at 7 watts per kilogram, but O'Malley grabs right onto that wheel, now 2.8 watts per kilogram, it looks like, from O'Malley as he sits in, but can't let that wheel go as Hodges continues to try and break him off. Guy off the back now, it looks like, by 1 second. He's got to close it down now. 187 beats per minute coming from Guy now. We do see Hodges now backing it off, though, as O'Malley goes right on by in that level 20 kit now. There's the two off the front, Hodges and O'Malley. Are they going to be able to hold off the PTZ rider? You can see him there in the distance. He's about 10 meters off the back. 3 seconds is absolutely huge at this point. Looks like he may have to settle for 3rd place as these two go off the front. He maxed out at 187 beats per minute, now 7.1 watts per kilogram as they hit this little 2% gradient, the last little gradient out on course now. Doesn't look like he's going to be closing it down. 24 miles per hour, 23, maybe be able to close it down at this point, but nope. The group is going away. Hodges leading it out now, and who's going to have it in the sprint? Hodges now 4.0, settling things down just a little bit, trying to let that heart rate fall. O'Malley now sitting on the wheel, though. 152 beats per minute. Looks like G. O'Malley's got plenty to work with at this point out of the UK. We'll see who's going to jump first. It's usually who jumps first around this corner who's able to take it. I think Hodges really threw a lot of chips on the table at that point. Does he have any aces, though, up his sleeve at this point? Does he have any kick left is going to be the question. Hodges now at the front just waiting. At this point, once they make the bridge and nobody goes, it's usually who goes first. Hodges goes first, 13 watts per kilogram, 800 watts that we're seeing from the rider here as he gets a little bit of a gap. It looks like O'Malley's not going to be able to match it. O'Malley now coming on like a freight train, though, but a little bit too late. He might have been able to pull it off, but he jumped just a little too late. It will be Hodges across the line, followed by O'Malley, and then Guy for 3rd place out there today. Opitz now going to be taking the category win in the B category. Solid effort all around between those riders. Now O'Connor now with Robertson now making their way to the line for the top 3 positions here. This is going to be for 2nd place in the B category today. We do have some C riders here chasing these boys out on course as well that has a main group that we will try to cover as they make their way to the line. We're going to see a sprint effort or not is going to be the question. O'Connor ramping up 4.6, 8 watts per kilogram. Here comes Connor. D. O'Connor for the 2nd place finish today out on course. Moving our way backwards here now. We're on the wrong parts of the course now. So I don't believe that we're going to be able to quickly move our way back here. We'll see if I can find some of the other riders here for you boys and girls in that C category. I do have a feed here. It's acting extremely laggy, though, so I can't bring it through for the main top 10. For the rest of the top 10 that are bringing it in here, Sullivan is just about to actually come to the line here, I believe, for a top 10 finish for Mr. Sullivan. Solid effort here by him as he is about to round out. There he is for Team EN. In the out of the USA, 166 beats per minute. He's been solo for quite some time, actually, out here today. Great job to Guy De Rosa. Yeah, solid. Only 2 guys in the B. No, there weren't only 2 guys in the B, but there's only 2 guys at the front of the B category right now. It's the Volcano Flat course. So is the way that Zwift works is it shows instances, right? So right now I get the instance of the Watopia reverse is what I get. Right, so if I click forward or all over the place, I'll get Watopia. We do see Brett E here trying to follow Rachia here. As soon as they come around the corner, though, from that Ocean Boulevard, it gives me access to them again because they are back onto the Watopia reverse instance that I can see them on. Rachia went way early here. It looks like ODZ Boy is able to chase him down on that Tron bike, and Brett E will be getting the better of him, it looks like, in this B category race for somewhere, I believe, in the top 5. In the B category, followed very closely by Florence, who's just barely going to nip, I believe. Yep, at the line there. Rachia, who tries to kick, but didn't see him coming, I think, there, followed by Luzier. So that's why, if you're wondering what's going on with that and why you can't see more people in the race, do you see that I now passed up Ocean Boulevard and I'm now on the reverse Watopia descent? So that's the reason for not being able to see the other riders out on course. Now we're a part of the. As soon as the riders cross the line that you're a part of the event for, that you're following, and their event is finished, you then go into the whole world, open world riding. So now we're seeing riders in the KISS individual TT, I believe, and all kinds of riders all over the place doing all kinds of different things, as you can see here. So D. Williams here from the watts per kilogram team. Lots of watts per kilogram, actually. Does watts per kilogram have their own race or ride going on out there right now? Looks like a solid effort here from them. Now it looks like Hedgehog is going to be out there riding a warm-up maybe for the individual TT. And we're going to go ahead and turn it around here. I thought he was giving us access to Ocean Boulevard, but he hadn't left the instance yet maybe. So yeah, it's a little wacky how it works there. Also, there could be more riders between you and them which aren't showing up. Weirdness like that is why I stopped working on that other Zwift thing I posted on screenshot a while back. Gotcha. Kyle Mack. Understood. All right, for the results then today, as we're unable to grab the rest of the feeds, I want to really quick see if we can bring in the C category riders. They were about 4 minutes behind, but I do not have access currently to the Ocean Boulevard out on course. So there we go. This guy, I think, just gave us access. We'll see if we can back it up just a little bit. Kapala here we go. This was the leaders. All right, good deal here. Thank you so much for getting us over to the lead in the C category. We are seeing Field here. First time rider, 3.9 watts per kilogram. So solid effort from him, and he is going to be taking a B category result in the top 10, it looks like. But Kapala, Robsch, and Kelly have all been coming to the line together. They've been riding together from the get-go in the C category. Robsch here out of Germany here, 4.9 watts per kilogram, 158 beats per minute. Kicks it around the corner immediately right up into that 500 watts, 5.6 watts per kilogram. Kapala here now 4.2. We're seeing Regan now following here, maybe just waiting to open up a sprint here, letting Robsch go a little bit early, but can they close it down? Does anybody have the kind of wattage needed to close down the effort of Raj here that's gained a solid 6 meters, 5 meters? But here comes Kapala now coming right back to the wheel and is going to go flying right on by. Raj went super early, was unable to hold on to the gap here, but here he goes again now, 5.6 watts per kilogram, 6 watts per kilogram, 180 beats per minute. Now up and out of the saddle comes Kapala here, but Regan now out of nowhere just gets dragged right to the line, but it was going to be Kapala unable to nip it at the line. Will be Robsch, comes by right after. Solid race will be Kapala, followed by Robsch, and then Regan in that C category. Kelly now the next one to cross the line for the top 4, I believe. Solid effort all around between the riders there. And great job to the C category boys. So for the results, Hodges takes the win in the A category, followed by Greg O'Malley, and then Guy DeRosa. That's your actually overalls. In the B category, G. O'Malley, Andrew Opitz, and then Daniel O'Connor. Tim Sullivan takes third in the A category, actually. So solid effort. You want to see the results, boys and girls? Head on over to zwiftpower.com. C category, Bartolome Capala, followed by George Rops, and then Martin Regan, Kevin Kelly, next one across the line. For the C category is what those riders were in. All right, everybody, that is going to be it for our coverage today. If you are looking for any more of the broadcast, make sure to hit that follow button over on Twitch or on our Facebook or Beam, as well as subscribe on YouTube for replays. Lots more coming your way on Zwift Community Live, so watch out for all the updates as we are we're working a lot in the background on a lot of really cool stuff to come. So if it seems a little quiet right now, that's only because there's a lot more on the way. So definitely watch out for some big announcements that are coming up for some new features out on Zwift Community Live. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Great job to all the racers. Again, results over on zwiftpower.com for official results. And as always, everybody, ride on.